Hello and welcome to News Hour. I am David Patrick Kamara. Coming up in this edition of News Hour, Sierra Leone Labour Congress organizes Bike Riders Union regional elections. National Revenue Authority signs a memorandum of understanding with the National Telecommunications Commission to improve revenue generation and tax administration. And 7-month intermediate staff course for security personnel from 5 countries in the sub-region starts at the Horton Academy, IMAT. All these stories and more are lined up in this edition of News Hour. Welcome back and thanks for joining us for our first story. The 2 remaining elections of the Commercial Bike Riders Union that will bring into office a new executive have been organized by the Sierra Leone Labour Congress office in Freetown. It could be recalled that a 4-man committee was constituted to investigate circumstances leading to the disharmony among the ranks of the Bike Riders Union. But reports and counter-reports have been made since August with little or no attention paid to them by government. Rose Konima-Stevens reports.
The lower level elections were scheduled for delegates from the north and southern regions. It should have been conducted, if not withheld, by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, these officials said. They noted that it is not just an affront, but a gross violation of the union's constitution. They informed the gathering that Bike Riders Union contributes to government's revenue by a way of paying taxes and registering motorcycles with institutions concerned. Officials of the Labour Congress, however, said after the lower level elections, a new executive will be able to operate effectively in the Bike Riders Union and called on the government and the public not to interfere into the elections and administrations of their affiliate union, which is the Bike Riders Union. The elections ended with Eunice Akanu as chairman Northern Region and Tamba James Southern Region. Earlier, an impasse erupted among the officials, which prompted police intervention. SLBC News, Rose Konima-Stevens.
A 56-year-old man, Olu Williams, has been sentenced to 12 years in prison for sexually penetrating a 7-year-old girl. His sentence came as a result of him pleading guilty before the appeals court judge, Justice Alusain Sise, at the High Court in Sierra Leone. Amina Shnani Brema reports.
Ruling, Justice Alusain Sise noted that the occurrence of sexual penetration involving minor girls is disturbing, adding that the speed at which the offense is going is discouraging and needs rigid stance against these perpetrators. Justice Alusain Sise frowned at the 56-year-old Olu Williams for having sexual intercourse with a 7-year-old girl and noted that the medical report stated that the victim's hymen was completely ruptured. He said, based on the age of the accused, he is supposed to be a father or guardian to the 7-year-old girl and stressed that the accused has ruined the victim's future. Justice Alusain Sise sentenced the 56-year-old Olu Williams to 12 years in prison, with time spent in custody be considered. He affirmed that the sentence will send a firm warning to those that are engaged in sexual penetration with girls for them to desist from such acts. He noted that the judiciary will punish anyone the law finds guilty of sexual penetration of a child, underscoring that the government and the public rely on the judiciary to help in the fight against sexual penetration by punishing the perpetrators when charged to court. The accused was charged with the offense of sexual penetration of a child, contrary to law. The convict, Olu Williams, on diverse dates between the 1st January and 8th August 2018, had sexual intercourse with the victim, a 7-year-old girl, for which he pleaded guilty and begged for mercy. Olu Williams, after committing the offense, was arrested on the 20th and was charged to court on the 21st September 2018. Sexual penetration has become one of the major problems girls are faced with in the country, a challenge and concern to the government and public. It is in this light the First Lady, Fatima Bio, will launch the Hands Off Our Girls project on the 14th December 2018 to protect girls from sexual penetration, early marriage and teenage pregnancy in the country. The First Lady Fatima Bio supported President Bio's statement during his thank you tour to Kenema and Bo 1 month ago, where he vowed to pass into law life in prison for sexual penetration offenders to help eradicate the offense by youth and elderly men. Lawyer Ahmed James Maxwell Bokari prosecuted the matter on behalf of the state, while O.C. Spencer Coker represented the convict Olu Williams. SLBC News, Amina Shnyande Brahima reporting.
The National Revenue Authority, NRA, has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the National Telecommunications Commission, NATCOM, to improve on the cordiality of mobilizing revenue generation and tax administration. The partnership, according to the Commissioner General of the National Revenue Authority, Dr. Samuel Jibao, is to ensure that the authority meets its target to improve on the gross domestic product to 20% by 2020. Aruna Patrick Kamara was in attendance and now reports.
Between the National Revenue Authority, NRA, and the National Telecommunication, NATCOM, is to strengthen the partnership with institutions to help achieve the goal of the revenue mobilization and tax administration. Commissioner General National Revenue Authority, Dr. Samuel Jibao, said as part of their vision on revenue mobilization, it's right to partner with other institutions to improve on revenue generation. He said the National Revenue Authority to enforce the Act to ensure revenue generation meets its targets of 20% in the next 5 years.
And because once we operate as one institution in this country, we know that we'll be able to raise the revenue targets which we have to that of 20% of GDP in the next 5 years. So this is part of a compliance tool, which as revenue administration we are very conscious about it. However, we know that our relationship with NATCOM has been that of a cordial one. Initially, we were actually collecting almost everything before ever the Act came, and the Finance Act 2009. We spoke about NATCOM retaining some revenues, but now with the government's accountability and finance act, is that PFM Act, which brought into being the single treasury account, it again gives the mandate to NRA, well, reinforces the act of the NRA, which says that we are responsible for collection.
Dr. Jibao said the signing of the MOU with NATCOM is part of many engagements that the authority is going to embark on to ensure proper coordination is done on revenue mobilization and tax administration. The Deputy Director General, National Telecommunication Commission, NATCOM, Daniel Kaitibi, said as a commission they are ready to support the National Revenue Authority to stop corrupt practices on revenue mobilization and tax administration. He said the signing of the MOU will increase transparency in revenue mobilization and tax administration. He commended the authority for the partnership as it will help them increase on the collection of revenue to develop the country. The Director, Revenue and Tax Policy, Ministry of Finance, Idris Kanu, said they are ready to support the National Revenue Authority to enforce their acts in mobilizing revenue. He said the revenue collection will empower their ministry to fund government projects. The Commissioner Domestic Tax Department, National Revenue Authority, Ibrahim Sori Kamara, commended the two institutions for the partnership as it will help promote national development. News Hour, Aruna Patrick Kamara in Freetown.
The Houghton Academy, in collaboration with the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, has officially opened the intermediate staff course for security personnel from 5 countries in the sub-region, including Mali and Niger. The purpose of the course is to harmonize security forces within the sub-region to combat security threats, among other things. The ceremony was held at the Houghton Academy in Aimat. Let's join Joseph Toure for more.
Security in West Africa need utmost attention, especially when threats like terrorism, drug and human trafficking are reported of late on the traditional and social media. It is strongly believed that harmonizing security forces in the sub-region can improve the security sector to combat these vices. The course for intermediate staff ranging from captains to junior majors is aimed at capacitating them for professional output in the field. It also gives them the opportunity to interact with other security forces and get fresh ideas. Phase 1 of the course consists of information technology, communication skills, peace support operations. The second phase includes adequate tactics and planning for military operation. The Chief of Defense Staff, Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Brahma Cissé, in his keynote address said the course is a major factor in the advancement to higher heights. He noted that it is an opportunity to build a stronger relationship with member states.
It is a course, as rightfully said by the Chief Instructor, that builds on the Junior Staff Course and serves as a bridge between the Junior Staff Course and the Senior Command and Staff Course or training that we run in this Houghton Academy. The Intermediate Staff Course 2018, as you have already been informed, has a bigger representation this year, as we have students from Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. We are expecting the Malians, adding to those from Liberia, Guinea, and the Gambia, who are regular members of this Houghton Academy.
The Director of Studies, Houghton Academy, Lieutenant Colonel Martin Travin, stated that it is an important phase in their career. The 7-month course, he went on, will equip them on administrative and security issues. Lieutenant Colonel Travin assured the students of the required support needed for the course. Regular courses and training are set to be held annually for a continued improvement in their career.
The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has held a seminar on the October 2018 Sub-Saharan African Regional Economic Outlook, Capital Flow and the Future of Work. IMF update shows that there is muted recovery in all oil exporting countries, while most other countries continue to sustain high growth. Soriba Samura reports.
Capital flows refer to the movement of money for the purpose of investment, trade or production, and research and development. According to the International Monetary Fund, Sierra Leone, like any other sub-Saharan Africa country, is at risk to debt distress. According to the representative of the International Monetary Fund in Sierra Leone, Dr. Iyabo Masha, the IMF believes improved policy frameworks, deepened trade and finance, among other things, when put into practice, enhances resilience and increase growth. She was upbeat about solutions which could sustain the economy of Sierra Leone by merging capital flows. Dr. Masha said spending compression is not enough, but that widening revenue generation is prudent for any country to do in the midst of changing economies. The IMF representative highlighted that Sierra Leone had in the last 10 years the highest GDP debt at 68%. She added that with IMF's proposed grant of $172 million United States dollars to Sierra Leone, growth is expected to move from the current 3.1% to 6% by next year. The International Monetary Fund's April 2018 edition of Fiscal Monitor is focused on two broad themes: the burden of high global debt and the opportunities and challenges of digital government, while noting that several low-income countries need to mobilize revenues, rationalize spending, and improve spending efficiency. Soriba Samura, SLBC News, Freetown.
The Ministry of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, in collaboration with UN Women, has signed a high-level policy meeting on the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. The meeting targeted signing of commitment to end violence against women and girls by state actors and the diplomatic community. The meeting was held at the Miata Conference Hall, Brookfields. Esther Mari Samura reports.
Could we please engage our audience on this? Let's send this message across. I am honored to launch the 3 Gender Acts in Sierra Leone.
That was Bendu Gassama, the Minister of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, launching the 3 Gender Act in Sierra Leone, including Domestic Violence Act, which addresses all types of violence in a democratic setting, Devolution of Estates Act, which protects women in terms of lands inheritance, and the Registration of Customary Marriages and Divorces Act. The 16 days of activism on gender-based violence is being carried out in the country with the theme Orange the Wall, #HearMeToo. Violence against women and girls, such as rape, early marriage, sexual abuse, harmful practices, and harassment, among others, has been of utmost concern to state actors, civil societies, and development partners. Global best practice suggests the principle that domestic violence law should unequivocally prohibit mediation to criminal justice. Giving an overview of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, the minister said state actors are called upon to take action against perpetrators of gender-based violence against women and girls in the country. Delivering the keynote address, First Lady Fatima Jabibio pleaded with the men and boys to take off their hands off the girls, whom she described as the future leaders of the nation, and that they must be treated with utmost respect. She said that radical actions will be taken against perpetrators of domestic violence. She called on the law enforcing bodies to put measures in place in combating the menace.
This is not the time to say, well, President Bio have to come and do this. President Bio is just one man. It is for me and you and every other person here, including the police. If we have to use the military, we have to shame them. We have to bring them in places like PZ and let the whole country see them. We have to put them on social media. And disgrace them and put them out so that their own children can see what their fathers are doing. If we do all of this, believe me, if even you think of your wrong mentality, you will start to ask Jesus Christ to cleanse you.
It was a solemn moment after listening to the voices of some victims of sexual and gender-based violence in Sierra Leone. State actors and heads of foreign delegations in Sierra Leone who made their commitment in fighting the war against gender-based violence include Priscilla Schwartz, Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Head of European Union, Tom Vance, among others. Esther Marie Samura, SLBC TV.
Solar Oven Partnership Organization under the United Methodist Church in the USA has trained Methodist women in Freetown on the use of solar oven. The training, which took place at the Charles Davis Memorial United Methodist Church, Regent Road, Lumley, is going to be replicated in the other regions. The over 1,000 women from the United Methodist Church benefited from the training. Let's join Sheku Sumaila for the details.
UMC women can now operate solar oven after this training organized by Solar Oven Partners, an organization under the United Methodist Church USA. They are first schooled on how to prepare the ingredients, knowing the right quantities before placement in the solar oven, which is left under the sun. The timing of the cooking depends on the amount of sunlight. This can be used also to purify water. Sierra Leone has the right temperature for the use of solar oven, especially during the dries. This is environmentally friendly as it does not emit carbon monoxide. It is economical as it reduces the financial cost of buying gas, firewood, and charcoal. This also protects the forest from deforestation. Marge Evans Do Carpio is director of Solar Ovens Partners USA.
In the 3 years that it was funded, people were enthusiastic about it and began to send donations, and ever since then it's funded by donations from Christians in the United States, mostly United Methodist, because it is a United Methodist ministry. And what we do is, with those donations, we buy all the materials necessary to build the ovens. We ship the ovens flat, not assembled, and in the location. So yesterday, our team was building ovens together with the participants in the seminar, and at the same time we were cooking so that people could learn how the oven works, be convinced that it works, and also learn how to alter their recipes. One of the things that we learned yesterday was in cooking greens, we need to use significantly less water than they thought. This is something that we're developing here in Sierra Leone. We know how to make foods in the other places where we have partnerships because we've been there longer and we've already done the experimenting. Here we're in the stage of experimenting with Sierra Leonean recipes.
Coordinator of Solar Oven Partners, UMC Sierra Leone, Smart Senesi, had this to say.
We also target men. You can see that there are some men among the participants. But it's important also for the women because, you know, in Sierra Leone, they are responsible for the cooking. Even though some men cook like myself. Yeah, we have done 2 days in Freetown. On Sunday, we'll be going to McKinney and do another 2 days. And then after that, we travel to Bow so that we have participants from all over the country. We will have people from Kono coming to McKinney, Kabbalah coming to McKinney, and then in Bow, we'll have from the southern region and also Kenema districts. So it's going to be a nationwide program.
Mabel Anita Sisse benefited from the training. She said that she will in turn train other women.
I've been able to know how to use the oven, how to prepare food. Like for instance, when you want to cook rice, the quantity of water that you use and the amount of rice that you should pour in the pot. And then when you want to cook groundnut stew and palava sauce, all the ingredients you'll have to pour in the pot, and then you time yourself whether 1 or 2 hours depending on the sun, the reflection of the sun, because the more the sun penetrates on the oven, the quicker the food will get cooked.
Selected UMC women in Bow and McKinney are also going to benefit from this new cooking source in this country. Reporting for SLBC News, I am Sheku Sumaila.
The Freetown City Council has said that moving forward beyond the National Cleaning Day to ensure proper hygiene and sanitation of the municipality, it is reinstituting sanitary officers who will be mandated, among other things, with the spot visit to check houses. Last Saturday, 3rd December, was Sierra Leone's last national monthly cleaning exercise, with some people describing it as lacking the expected required pressure. Huge piles of waste generated from it, as usual, are still waiting for the attention of the Freetown City Council and other state authorities, as it has become a tradition. Patrick Salia reports.
These boys were arrested on the height washing cars on main streets within the stipulated time of 7 a.m. to 12 midday for the cleaning exercise. They were taken into custody by the Metro Police to face the law, which prescribes a 6-month prison term of 500,000 leones, or both penalties. That exercise was Sierra Leone's 8th monthly national cleaning operations since it was declared in May by President Julius Maada Bio as part of a campaign to improve hygiene and the beauty of communities. It is considered the most important because it ushers in the festive season and closes the year, but unfortunately did not get the Freetown City Council's expected compliance level. Abiose Agnes Wilson, who represents Ward 433 at the Freetown City Council as councillor, experiences firsthand Freetonians' lack of cooperation.
Right, people are not cooperating. Especially you have some along this Campbell Street. Some of them do not even put their garbage in sacks. So it's a lot of challenges to even gather, because we don't have enough youth. We have just only 20 youth. If the garbage are in the sacks, you find out that it will be easy to take inside the vehicle. The shops, you find out that most shops in my ward will just litter. Inside the drainage, they will never clean in front of their shop drainages. And during the cleaning exercise, you will never see them.
This John Lane off Campbell Street, she says, is one of the most troublesome non-complying areas whose residents complacently, according to her, do not want to comply. Such nonchalant attitudes were manifested in several other communities within the country's main city. This was also observed by the senior administrative officers of the Metropolitan Council, most of whom were out on the day. Kumar Hassan Kamara is the FCC's spokesperson.
Well, the overall assessment is the organizing team is okay in terms of organizing the trucks and the clearing of the back garbages on the streets. We don't have much problem of like the previous times. But what we are having a challenge with at this time is the attitude of people. We find out that even after 8, going to 9 o'clock, people are not even in the mood of taking upon them to clean up even around their environs. We visited places, even shop owners never came around their places to clean.
Councillor Abiose therefore appeals for government's robust law enforcement intervention if at all the initiative should be effective in achieving its desired objective.
This center part of the capital Freetown, Eastern Police, where almost every resident and visitors of this city want to visit to buy and sell their wares, has been one of the most troublesome areas to clean up because of the waste generated on a daily basis in this area. So the attention of both the council and other authorities, including the police and the military personnel, including civilians as well, is high here every monthly cleaning.
Colonel S.S. Massakoy is the commander of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces Joint Logistics Unit.
We are here to support the efforts of the government in ensuring we have a clean environment for every Sierra Leonean. So we are basically supporting the directive of His Excellency the President, who happens to be our Commander-in-Chief, Minister of Defense. So we are basically here to support the efforts of the government. That directive has been given to us by the Chief of Defense Staff through the Deputy Minister of Defense.
Support in what sense? Enforcing compliance, or you're taking part in the exercise?
We are taking part. As you can see, our guys are there. They are taking part. If you go around, you see we are heavily taking part in the cleaning exercise. Apart from enforcing compliance, we are also taking part in the exercise itself.
Since its introduction in May, most homes and individuals hardly now pay some of the community waste management services, the disposal of their individually generated wastes. Throughout the month, they will store tons of household rubbish, including old and unwanted mattresses, awaiting the first Saturday to bring them out for free transportation to the central dump sites at King Tom and Kisi. So much household waste is dumped in gutters that they constantly become clogged, causing flooding during the rains. After the cleaning, the water can now easily flow through the drainage and empty into the sea. The waste management system in Freetown is, however, gradually getting better than before the national monthly cleaning operation was reintroduced.
We have a mobilization team now that is going on for so many operations. Revenue is one, to see the beautification, because the press releases are out, to see the beautification of frontages, at the same time to monitor the environment in terms of cleaning.
Beautification in what sense?
So paint their frontages as we are approaching the Christmas. We've sent that message out on air, and it's there now. The announcement is going on that all those whose houses are on the highways or on the main streets of Freetown are supposed to at least facelift, so that we can have a beautiful Freetown as we are all looking forward for the Christmas. That's when we have to do some monitoring. As we are doing that, we also check for sanitation. That is for those who deliberately refuse not to clean.
It is, however, still evidently clear that the 7 a.m. to 12 midday once a month campaign is not enough. For SLBC News in Freetown, Patrick Salia reporting.
So in the news, the main points again. Sierra Leone Labour Congress has organized Bike Riders Union regional elections. National Revenue Authority has signed a memorandum of understanding with the National Telecommunications Commission to improve revenue generation and tax administration. And 7-month intermediate staff course for security personnel from 5 countries in the sub-region is in progress in the Houghton Academy, IMAT. Well, that's all in this edition of News Hour, broadcast live on the SLBC. On behalf of the team, I am David Patrick Kamara.